Welcome. Today we're exploring how happiness is defined or explained from ancient Greece to modern times by the scholars. In the ancient Greece, Socrates introduced Eudaimonia, meaning flourishing. He believed true happiness comes from living a virtuous life. Aristotle expanded on this, defining the happiness as fulfilling one's potential through virtue and reason. During the Middle Ages, St. Augustine believed happiness was spiritual, tied to a relationship with God. Thomas Aquinas combined this with Aristotle's views, seeing happiness as achievable through divine union and virtue. During the Enlightenment, John Locke linked happiness to personal freedom. Jeremy Bentham's Utilitarianism defined happiness as maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain for the greatest number. William James, in the 19th century, saw happiness as shaped by how we perceive our experiences. Martin Seligman later introduced the PERMA model, focusing on positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. Today, happiness is studied through subjective well-being, which includes positive emotions and life satisfaction. Science, like neuroscience and positive psychology, now offers insights and tools to improve happiness. From ancient philosophy to modern science, our understanding of happiness has evolved, helping us find new ways to enhance our well-being. The ancient Greeks, renowned for their love of wisdom and reason, were deeply invested in understanding the nature of happiness. Socrates, the enigmatic Athenian philosopher, believed that the unexamined life was not worth living. He argued that true happiness stemmed from virtue, knowledge, and living in accordance with reason. For Socrates, happiness was not a fleeting emotion but a state of being cultivated through self-awareness and moral conduct. Aristotle, Socrates' student and a polymath of extraordinary breadth, expanded upon his mentor's ideas. He introduced the concept of eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or living well. Aristotle believed that eudaimonia was the ultimate goal of human life, and that it could be achieved by cultivating virtues such as courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. He emphasized the importance of living a balanced life, pursuing excellence in all areas and contributing to society. With the rise of Christianity, the concept of happiness took on a more spiritual dimension. St. Augustine of Hippo, a prominent theologian and philosopher, argued that true happiness was unattainable in this earthly life. He believed that lasting joy could only be found in union with God in the afterlife. For Augustine, earthly pleasures were fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying. True happiness lay in transcending the material world and embracing the divine. Thomas Aquinas, a Dominican friar and one of the most influential thinkers of the Middle Ages, synthesized Aristotelian philosophy with Christian theology. He agreed with Aristotle that happiness was the ultimate goal of human life. However, Aquinas believed that true happiness could only be attained through God's grace. He argued that while earthly virtues were important, they were insufficient without divine guidance. The PERMA model, positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment, can also be seen in this spiritual context. Positive emotion was found in the joy of worship and divine grace. Engagement was evident in the dedication to religious practices and community service. Relationships were fostered through communal worship and shared faith. Meaning was derived from a life devoted to God and spiritual pursuits. Accomplishment was achieved through the pursuit of virtue and divine wisdom. The Enlightenment, liberty, happiness, and the pursuit of utility. The Enlightenment, a period of immense intellectual and cultural change, ushered in a new era in our understanding of happiness. John Locke, an English philosopher and physician, argued that happiness was inextricably linked to personal freedom. He believed that individuals had natural rights to life, liberty, and property, and that governments should exist to protect these rights. For Locke, a just society that respected individual autonomy was essential for human happiness. Jeremy Bentham, an English philosopher and social reformer, developed the ethical theory of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism posits that the best action is the one that maximizes happiness and minimizes suffering for the greatest number of people. Bentham believed that happiness could be quantified, and that societal policies should aim to promote the greatest good for the greatest number. Modern times, from James's pragmatism to Seligman's flourishing. In the 19th and 20th centuries, psychologists began to explore happiness through an empirical lens. William James, a pioneering American psychologist and philosopher, rejected the notion of a single, universal definition of happiness. Instead, he argued that happiness was a subjective experience influenced by individual perceptions and interpretations of events. James emphasized the importance of finding meaning and purpose in life as key ingredients for happiness. Martin Seligman, a prominent American psychologist and a leading figure in the field of positive psychology, has proposed a multifaceted model of flourishing known as PERMA. PERMA stands for positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. Seligman argues that cultivating these 5 elements is essential for living a fulfilling and meaningful life. The future of happiness science illuminates the path. Scientists are using cutting-edge tools to unravel the mysteries of happiness. Neuroscientists identify brain regions and neurochemicals linked to positive emotions. Positive psychologists develop interventions to enhance happiness and resilience. New insights and practical applications emerge from these fields. The pursuit of happiness is a timeless human endeavor. From ancient Greece to the 21st century, our understanding of happiness has transformed.